Let's start with that.
I don't. I believe that defensively, whatever they worked on in camp worked. I mean, the way that he countered that inside, the single leg takedown,
high
head
crotch,
on the outside, and high crotch, and then stopping from getting that left arm out to turn it into a double and stuff. That was all perfect. Get him back to the feet. But if you don't win a game plan, you don't win a fight by being defensive.
Yes.
He needed more offense. The defensive side of it was great. It was just lacking in the offense.
You know, try to poke and try to get Islam to come across it, but Islam never did. And then I never forget when these guys shoot, they don't stop shooting. Even if Islam would shoot 100 fucking times, and Ian Garry would stuff 99, he would shoot 100 of them. He would continue to shoot. Does it wear down their gas tank? Yes, but Ian Garry isn't an athlete that takes risk. I said it before. If you look at his last 5 fights, he needs his opponents to overextend to capitalize on, on their mistakes, so he can get one up on his opponents, right?
Great. But I also think Gary was just content to compete with him, the way he kept hugging, kissing. You should be proud of yourself. And it's like, dude, ain't nobody trying to hear your fucking pep talk. You're here to fight, bro.
I don't like that.
I don't like that at all.
Not during the fight. I don't like it.
I like
after
respect, but
do whatever you
afterwards.
want. But we're paying to see a fight, bro. We're not paying you to tell him how good he is or none of that.
As a fan of the sport, I hate when guys do that, man. Maybe 5th round, it's a war, and they're gonna finish it out in the 5th round.
Michael Bisping believes Ian Garry could have won the fight if he had been more aggressive and pushed forward with higher output. Instead, Garry was too respectful, even hugging Islam during the fight. Bisping says Garry needed to show more intensity and that competitive nastiness. Ultimately, he believes Garry missed an opportunity by not fighting with enough aggression.
He's like, dude, we know that. You just had the ability to fight the top guy, to fight the champion in your division, and you failed. And he could have won that fight. He could have won that fight if he was a little nastier. Had he have gone forward, had he had more output, had he been a bit more aggressive and just had that nasty streak, right? Never mind pulling him up to his feet. Never mind giving him a hug, saying that he's so great and all the rest of it. He's absolutely right in what he says, but when the fight starts, you've got to have that nasty.
Michael Bisping says Ian Garry needed more urgency, aggression, and output against Islam Makhachev. He believes Garry has the frame, youth, technical ability, phenomenal kickboxing, and strong anti-wrestling to become champion. But according to Bisping, the one thing missing is his killer instinct. He believes Garry can learn from this experience and grow into a more complete fighter.
It is weakness. I've got him. This guy's scared. Ian Garry should have been nastier. He had to go forward. He had to throw more shots, and he could have done that. He could have done that if he had a little more urgency about him. Ian Garry is a tremendously talented fighter. He's 28 years old. He will learn and grow from this experience. But if he wants to become the champion one day, he's got all the tools. He's got the frame. He's got the youth on his side. He's certainly got the technical ability. His kickboxing is phenomenal. The anti-wrestling that he has is very, very high level. The only thing missing is that killer instinct. And a lot of people have been talking about this. So I thought I'd jump on and give my 2 cents.
Chael Sonnen explains that Ian Garry was trying to be respectful while also winning over the fans. Sonnen says Garry didn't want to make Islam look bad, because beating a great opponent makes your own performance look even better. He also questions whether the crowd's reaction was because Islam was more loved or because Ian was more disliked.
There's no ability for Ian Garry to get credit and go, look, I did something really well, if he convinces the world that his opponent sucks. Those are fighting words, this guy sucks, but you don't really want the world to believe that. You like to get over on him and have the world know he was really good and you're better. So I understood it to a pretty good degree what Ian was after, plus trying to be nice, plus trying to win the fans over. I don't know by the discrepancy in the cheers for Islam and the boos for Ian. I don't know about the discrepancy there, if that is truly because Islam was loved so much more, or if it was because Ian was disliked.
Chael Sonnen questions what Ian Garry's hugs meant once the fight started. He suggests Garry may have been trying to calm Islam down or disarm his intensity. But Sonnen finds the repeated hugs unusual, especially when both fighters were supposed to be competing at the highest level. He questions why Garry felt the need to show that kind of friendliness during the fight.
But once the fight begins, how do I interpret those hugs? Is it the same thing? I'm just trying to disarm him. He's coming at me awfully hard. This is my moment, this is my elbow and wink moment. Hey, bring it down a little bit, champ. Is that what that is? It doesn't sound right. What are my other options, though? So that would be the first hug. Hey, here I am. We're in here. We're doing this thing. We're competing with each other. We've got a few minutes. And I got to give you a hug and let you know I just think you're doing a really great job.
Jorge Masvidal believes Ian Garry became too comfortable with Islam Makhachev during the fight. He says treating a fight like a gym sparring session can take away the competitive edge. Masvidal feels Garry needed to make Islam feel more pressure and intensity instead of being too friendly. He believes Garry should have maintained a stronger fight mentality throughout the fight.
Why? Because for some guys, it's like they got to bring that familiarity back, right? Like, oh, I'm just a gym, another sparring session. Yeah, bro, another Saturday. Chilling, popping. And they're having fun. And they don't do well when they're feeling that, like, bro, this guy really wants to hurt me. And they have that uncertainty about them, that anxiety. I want you to feel that. I want you to fucking feel that. I don't want to do you no favors right before we fight.
Carlos Prates agrees with the criticism of Ian Garry's approach against Islam Makhachev. He says Garry hugged too much during the fight and was overly friendly with his opponent. While everyone has their own way of fighting, Prates believes this approach is not the right way to enter a fight.
Some, including Dana White, were critical of him afterwards, saying that he didn't have that killer instinct, especially in the 5th round. Too much hugging, too much respect. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. I don't like too much like he hugs so much during the fight, like be really friends. But like everybody have the way they like to do the things, and they like this way. But I don't think it's a nice way to go to the fight,
Kenny Florian believes Ian Garry had a very good game plan against Islam Makhachev. He says Garry could have been more aggressive, especially in the 5th round when he needed something big. However, Florian believes Garry's tactics actually made the fight much closer than it would have been if he had simply moved forward looking for a knockout.
Opinion, and we'd be talking about how dominant Islam Makhachev was, where I think that Ian Garry went and had a game plan that was very good. Okay, I think he could have been a little bit more aggressive, absolutely, especially in round 5 where he was clearly losing and he needed something. But I actually think his tactics made that fight way closer than it would have been had he just moved forward and looked for a knockout from the get-go.
Josh Thompson says Ian Garry talked confidently about finishing Islam, but didn't show enough aggression when he had the opportunity. He believes Garry was too respectful and simply didn't pull the trigger. According to Thompson, Garry had the chance to prove his talk was real, but failed to capitalize on it.
He just didn't do enough for somebody who is always talks about I'm going to knock him out, or he's not getting out outside the 2nd round, or he's just not on my level. You were showing that you were actually
talks like that. Ian
Garry.
No,
Ian Garry does talk like that.
He's almost too respectful. That's what annoys people.
No. He's all of his stuff. Even Usman and his Kamaru Usman has talked about. All he does is talk about how he's going to finish people. Motherfucker hasn't finished anybody, and that's what he talked about. He has talked about people aren't on his level. His move, he's too good. He's too fluid. He talks like that. Bottom line is, last night he had an opportunity to show it and prove it, and he was right there. He just didn't pull the trigger.
Luke Thomas questions why Ian Garry abandoned the constant movement that is normally a key part of his game. He believes standing in front of Islam made Garry easier to attack and allowed Islam to initiate grappling exchanges more effectively. Thomas points out that very few of those sequences ended on Garry's terms.
I don't know why he didn't move as much. I really don't understand that. That is such a normal component of his game, where he's constantly moving to both set up offense, make himself more, a tougher defensive target. And he just stood in front of him this time, which I'm not sure I understand, though. I don't know what the strategy was there to do that, because to me, it made the single leg easier for Islam to pick up. And he didn't get the finish on those every time, but it would start a grappling sequence that would be on Islam. I mean, what grappling sequence that Islam initiated ended up on Gary's terms. I could think of one where he got the reversal off of the crackdown, right? That was it.
Javier Mendez said Ian Garry is a tough matchup because of his length, movement, and well-rounded skills. But Islam Makhachev dominated him like never before, taking him down and controlling him on the ground. Mendez believes this performance proved just how elite Islam is at welterweight.
And that's the thing with Ian Garry. It's hard to fight him. Anyone that he fights, it's always a difficult fight because he's so long and it's confusing to try and figure out where you're at. And then he's so well-rounded. So you guys did an incredible job and you dominated. I was going to say... Oh, sorry, go on, Javier.
Well, if you think about it, right, I don't think anybody's dominated Ian Garry like Islam did. I don't think anybody has. I watched his fights and I didn't see anybody dominate him. Not like this. This is the first time he's actually been taken down this much and controlled this much on the ground. So, that's why Islam to me is on track to, being the top 5. The gold category, probably higher than 5, but regardless,
TJ Dillashaw felt Ian Garry was fighting to survive rather than trying to win. He believes Garry needed more offense, higher volume, better movement, and more use of his range. Dillashaw also noticed that Gary's corner seemed out of sync, with multiple people talking at the same time.
I agree with that. 2 things on that, exactly what you just talked about. First is that I feel like Ian Garry was fighting to survive and not to win. He was just happy with not getting smothered, getting taken down, and getting embarrassed. He just wanted to survive when he should have had more offense. He should have had more volume, getting outside the shoulders, not standing in front of the guy, using his range. Like, so much he could have done differently there. And then talking about the corner and game plan, when I watched the fight and they would show the corner and Ian Garry's, none of them were in sync. They were all trying to talk at the same fucking time.
Arman Sarukian believes Ian Garry became too cautious against Islam Makhachev. Instead of trusting his striking, Garry seemed overly concerned with Islam's takedowns and struggled to create enough offense. Arman says Garry needed to attack more and force Islam to respect his stand-up game.
Ian Garry, he didn't believe himself so much. If he could believe himself before the fight, like the earlier rounds, he could do better. But like he didn't do anything. He was just thinking about defend the takedown, but he forget that he's a striker. You gotta strike. How are you gonna win? You just stay there like this and doing nothing. Like, how you wanna win this fight? Yeah, people saying he defend Islam's wrestling, of course, but if he's not fighting, he's just defending.
Israel Adesanya saw the second round as a key turning point when Islam Makhachev landed a clean head kick that stunned Ian Garry. He praised Garry for staying composed and recovering, but said the moment highlighted Islam's elite skill and pound-for-pound status.
But fuck, that was around 2 when he sent him on ice skates, bro. That was when I felt it through my body, like nervous system was like, what the fuck? And I think when he had a high crotch at one point, I almost spiked him. But that head kick, I can't remember how he set it up. It was off the fence, coming off. Then it was off the left hand as well, just effortless. Yeah. And good for Ian to recover, stay composed, and not get finished, because most men would have got finished in that point.
Yeah,
but you wouldn't get hurt like that as well. Yeah, crazy fight. And again, I think this still, already it's fucking Islam stock is up here. He's the pound for pound best fighter in the world right now.
Belal Muhammad felt Ian Garry was too cautious against Islam Makhachev. Instead of taking the fight to Islam, Garry spent too much time worrying about the takedown threat. Belal believes Gary's body kicks were effective, but his hesitation to commit to his right hand prevented him from building enough offense.
And like I said, I think it was more so being happy with defending the takedown, being happy with not getting subbed or getting out of those grappling situations. Like, we did it, right? We survived. When I felt like it should have been more trying to press forward, especially in the later rounds, trying to attack more. The body kick was landing, but he wasn't really throwing the right hand at all. I think he just needed to let it go more, right? To try to find more openings. But Islam's very good defensively. He's good at even managing his own distance and backing out or shooting under your shot. I think that's why Ian was very hesitant to throw his right hand when it's southpaw against orthodox. Throwing that right hand leaves the opening for the takedown. But once it got to the later rounds, Islam was winning
Ariel Helwani believes Ian Garry entered the fight with everything needed to make it a much bigger challenge for Islam Makhachev. He felt Garry had moments where he could have changed the fight, but failed to take advantage of them. For Helwani, the biggest disappointment was that Garry had the opportunity to pull off a career-defining upset, but couldn't capitalize.
I thought that the story of this fight was Ian Garry. The story of this fight, yes, it was Islam trying to make history. Yes, he's the champion. Yes, he's trying to defend. But the story was, could Ian be the guy, the guy who was so confident, so sure of himself, seemingly saying all the right things going into this fight? Could he be the one to finally unseat Islam Makhachev? And the story of the fight in the aftermath is, he should have been the one. He should have won that fight. He had it. He could have won that fight. Islam had never been more beatable than maybe the Volkanovski fight in 23, but that felt like a 50-50.
Do you think Ian Garry had what it took to beat Islam Makhachev, but simply failed to pull the trigger? Or was Islam always one step ahead? Let us know your opinion in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more UFC reactions and fight analysis.